I used to doubt a lot of friends. I used to argue them very well whenever they talk about Pep Guardiola, always buying. But I think this season has given me that perception that it looks as if Guardiola is a checkbook manager.
Welcome to Tactics and Touchlines. Today, we are looking at one of the biggest debates going around in football. That is Pep Guardiola. Is he a paycheck manager, or is one manager that brings in unknown players and grow them into world-class talent? We'll look at some of the signings he has done in the Manchester City setup. He joining Manchester City. He has spent almost getting to 2 billion in Manchester City, buying players like Jack Grealish for 117, Vardio for 90, Mamouche for 75. Even last season, we saw the likes of Kushinov and Victor Ruiz coming in for 40 and 35 respectively, but they didn't get a chance to play. Nico Gonzalez also coming in for 40. So I want to find out from my pundit, is Pep Guardiola one of the best coaches in world football now? He has made a lot of changes in the game. Is he that coach that comes into the club and need to give him the paycheck to now perform, or he can be able to grow talent? There are also rumors on he not growing talent, also part of the argument, because we've seen some of the Man City lads, like the Cole Palmers, the Delabs, the Rogers, the Laviers, moving to clubs and performing so well. All these players were Manchester City Academy graduates who couldn't get a chance to play because of the signings Pep Guardiola was doing. So let me start with Prince. Pep Guardiola, being one of the coaches, I think as an Arsenal fan, he has really disturbed you a lot. Is he a coach that comes in just for the paycheck to get the titles, or he's one coach you believe he can grow a lot of talent?
I think there's a two sides to that. Because we didn't see that when he was in Barcelona. The likes of Messi, Busquets, all those guys came through the ranks of the La Masia. So we can point to him that when he was in Barcelona, that's what he was doing. But I think when he left to Bayern Munich and Man City, there's this perception that he likes to go to clubs that can spend. And I don't think there's anyone who wants to embrace poverty. So I believe it's in the right direction when I have to go to this club and they have enough to spend in a transfer window. Why not? But over the years, I think that perception has gone down a bit with even this season when Man City was one of the teams that went in for Florian Wirtz. And I think the money was too much and he had to just step back and rather go for the likes of Ryan Checky and yeah. So you look at the money he spent with 4 players that he just bought now, and it's not even up to what Liverpool has just spent on just one player. And when you look at, I remember his agent came to England just to come and see Man City and negotiate with them, but the price they put on the table was too much, and he had to just get off the deal and rather go for Ryan Checky and some of this players. So it's two ways. He used to do that before, but in recent times, I think when you look at players like he has graduated some of these Man City players who are playing now. Who, as I said, Jack Grealish, I think he bought Calvin Phillips for an affordable price tag. So I think it's just Jack Grealish in there and Gavadio, who are players you can say that he bought them with such a huge amount of money. But when you look at Stones and Fernandinho, all these guys came in with, at least the money wasn't too much. So it's two ways. You can't just tag him as a checkbook coach because he likes to go for the quality. I think there's nothing wrong with boosting your squad just to be competitive. Yeah.
Yeah, but Prince, I want to find out from you. Looking at Man City's top 10 signings, we have Jack Grealish being 117. As of now, he's not even part of their FIFA Club World Cup squad. He's out of favor from Pep Guardiola. He's one player they brought in with a huge sum of money, and now he wasn't part of their team. Looking at a player like Riyad Mahrez, they bought him for 67 million, and he got to some time, he just had to let him go. Laporte was bought in for 65 million, and he was also out of favor and had to leave the club. The likes of let's say Joao Cancelo came in for 65. He also got out of favor from Pep Guardiola and he had to move. We've seen players coming into this Manchester City team. You mentioned Calvin Phillips. Players he has bought and is not even using them. Some he has even brought in, like the Matthias Nunes, and they are being played out of position. Matthias Nunes was brought in just to replace the likes of Kelvin De Bruyne, but they are being played out of position. Don't you think because money is available, so he's just buying players and he's using that to cover up, as I'm one of the best coaches, I can just sign players and make green leagues. But if you are to put those things aside, he has been one of the, let's say in quotes, one of the worst managers, especially with player management.
I won't tag him as that because I think when these players came in, Guardiola plays with a system. I was discussing that with a colleague of mine some couple of days ago that he plays in a system where when you don't fit the system, you find difficult. We look at players like Doku. When Doku was coming in, he had a great potential. Even Savino from Girona, when he went on loan at Girona, the guy was so good about it. But when he came into the system and kept fitting, I don't think it's his problem you not fitting in because he bought you that amount of money. Fine. He came into bid and this was what the team requested he comes with. So it's not his fault that he bought the players with that amount of money because he wanted quality and he went for it. When you want quality, I think you have to spend more. So I don't think it's right for people to tag Guardiola as a coach who spends more. When you look at Sir Alex Ferguson, those times, Charlie, he also spent a lot on some of these players. Just that when you compare that time and this time now, you may think it was not much, but at that time, a 40 million was like 100 million this time. You get it. So honestly, I don't like tagging coaches because he's spending more. I think that's what you want. He wants quality and he goes for it. No matter how much the player is, he wants to spend and get the result, and he does get the result. If he's not getting a result, that's where we can say that, okay, he's spending and he's not getting a result. But at the end of the day, he brings in a trophy. He gives them the Champions League qualification, and that's what it's the most important thing at the end of the season.
Okay, so Sam, from your aspect, do you see Pep Guardiola as a coach who just find himself lying at the paychecks and just buying in players, mismanaging them, and sometimes send them out, or he's bringing in these players and he has grown some of the best talents in this Manchester City squad?
No, all right. So before I start with it, I think Pep is one of the best coaches of our time. Undoubtedly, he's very good at what he does. On the other side, he's one of those sports princess kind of people that want to dazzle his bags with crystals to make him feel like he's the best. I think Pep is the best undoubtedly, but Pep likes to spend. Pep has said kind of times that he can't be in a team that can't afford the players that he wants. He creates a system, and when he's done, he will go the extra mile to buy players to fit into his system. He likes to spend. Pep likes to buy flashy players. With what you said about with going to Liverpool and Pep City going for him, I believe that if Pep wants a player, Pep gets what you want. But Pep is that type that will tell the board that, listen, go in or give him what he deserves. I want this player. It works if it changes if the player says no. I want the other team rather, because I feel
Sam,
like,
not to cut you, but I think sometimes I have this feeling that Pep Guardiola and Manchester City try to inflate prices for other clubs. They did it to Man United, Harry Maguire. They did it to Arsenal with Declan Rice, and also they are doing it to Liverpool now. So maybe he just goes into to inflate the price and just leave, so that the club that needs the player most will now suffer in paying higher amount.
Very true. It's a way of also getting teams to pay more other players also. I think Pep is a a coach that nurtures or brings up new talent. I think you can probably say that's for coaches like Klopp, Mourinho, and some other coaches. When Klopp came, those that he bought were not players that you can easily tag as world class, but he made world class from those players. When Pep buys players, he buys players that are already made and can fit into his system. So I think yes, it's true. He's one of the biggest paycheck coaches that we have now. I don't really think Pep can even boast of 2 or 3 players that he has nurtured from ground up to big names, like in current football. But I think yes, he goes in for, even though he's an amazing coach, undoubtedly he's one of the best coaches that we have right now. He goes in for the flashy players that are already made. Yeah.
Okay, so Ralph, looking at Pep Guardiola, he has been one of the best coaches coming to the EPL, made a lot of competition between him and Liverpool and some of the clubs in the Premier League. Do you think he was able to beat Liverpool every time for the title, especially once the season Liverpool had 97 points? He was able to beat Liverpool based on having a larger paycheck to buy any player he wants? Or you think he's one coach that came into the Premier League to now grow a lot of talents? That is why they are benefiting from winning trophies.
Pep Guardiola is a good manager. Is a top manager. I mean, when it comes to tactics and systems, setting up a team, maybe I'm yet to see a manager who's close to that guy in terms of how he wants his team to play. And I don't know if Guardiola fears failure. He doesn't want to lose. He always wants to win, right? And now I want to ask, what is the purpose of the second team every team has? Or what's the purpose of the under 21? Whereby when things are not going well for Pep Guardiola, he quickly runs to his management, get me that player, get me this player, get me that player. I can't remember. One of the few players he has been able to groom, which I remember very well, was Phil Foden 2 seasons ago, where he won the player of the season. And after that, Foden dropped. I wanted to give him that nod that, okay, now the Pep Guardiola is trying something new by developing players. I've even made that argument with some friends some time ago that, he doesn't normally buy too much. But this season has given me a different perception about what he does when it comes to buying of players. He signed a player, like Kusanov or something like that, and the guy didn't even play up to 20 matches. So I expected that
he
he's a
even
player.
signed a player called Victor Ruiz, and he didn't even play a match for Manchester City.
Exactly. So right now, I want you to know what is the main reason why he's signing. What are the other 21s doing? He had this boy Oscar Bob. He had Rico Lewis. Who the Rico Lewis he doesn't even trust. A lot of. So I'm asking myself that, yes, in terms of tactics and system, Guardiola is number 1. Nobody beats him to that. But do you necessarily have to run to your management to get you a player when things are not going well for you? Guardiola, now you ask a question that, did he beat Liverpool? He has a larger squad depth. Guardiola has the number. He has quality players on his bench. Sometimes you look at Liverpool's bench during Klopp's time, and I was like, wow, can we even compete? But Klopp was able to, give Pep a proper competition in the Premier League. Unlike Pep Guardiola, he quickly goes and then he signs players. At first, I used to doubt a lot of friends. I used to argue them very well whenever they talk about Pep Guardiola, always buying. But I think this season has given me that perception that I have to also follow that line or agree with them that Guardiola constantly is buying players, is constantly buying. So when is he going to groom? When is he going to nurture his own talent? He's in charge of everything football at Manchester City. Is he not going to bring some talent from the under 21? When Klopp brought Trent Arnold, by then Liverpool had Nathan Klein playing as a right back. Fans were talking, we don't like him, he's too young. I remember Klopp gave that guy the opportunity against Man United. And I remember this boy, Antonio Marshall, he roasted Trent Arnold. He turned him left and right and he scored eventually. But yes, the club kept that faith in that boy. How is Guardiola doing it? Matthew Nunes was from Wolves as a midfielder. Today he's playing Matthew Nunes as a right back. So it looks as if Guardiola is a checkbook manager. He's a good manager in terms of football tactics and systems. But in terms of player development, he's nowhere near the top managers like Klopp and other ones.
Okay, Stu, for that. I think he's he's that coach that doesn't have that patience. I think he's addicted to winning. So by all means, he wants to win. So he doesn't have that time to wait for you to develop before he wins something. Yeah. So I think that's one factor. He's a serial winner and he wants to win all the time.
Okay.
So looking at their transfers they've done this season, they've added Ednori to their team, which cost them 31 million. They've added that's Tijani Renders for 55 and now Ryan Checky for 36. So looking at these three transfers, are Manchester City on the verge of maybe winning the league next season? And how are you going to rate this team from 1 to 10? So let me start with Prince. Is this team capable of winning the Premier League next season? And how are you going to rate their signings from 1 to 10?
Unfortunately, they are not winning. And fortunately for us, we are winning the league next season. So that's a story for.
They are predicting for next season.
We'll save this video for the end of next season. We'll come back to it and you guys will give my flowers. So one thing I've come to understand with the EPL is adapting to the system, the EPL system alone, because the atmosphere alone it's a different thing altogether. The coaches, the media, the fans, it's something you can compare to the other leagues, especially with how fast the ball runs on the pitch. So adaptation is something I always look forward to when these coaches are going for some of these players. I was so much happy when United were going for Mbembo, because at least there's a player that plays in the EPL. Yeah, he's already used to the system. So it won't be like a Hodgland or a Zexi where this player is not used to the EPL. So honestly, City going for this place, I don't have a problem with that at all, because I feel like this place will now come and have to adapt to the system. And before they adapt, it might take like 5-6 games or probably 10 games. And Guardiola is someone that when you don't adapt quickly, he just puts you aside and wants to go for someone else. You understand? So I really don't fear Guardiola like what I was saying the last time on the pitch when Sam was praising Guardiola with the signings. I really don't fear City. City is one of the teams that I don't fear in the league. And for the past 2 seasons, it's clear I can play City and score City. So with the signings he's doing, it doesn't put fear in me. Maybe United is afraid because of what they've been doing to them some couple of seasons ago. So, but for me, I'm not afraid at all. I don't think it should put fear in anyone. No.
Okay, so with this, there are 3 transfers. How are you going to rate it from 1 to 10?
I think it's 4. They signed 4 players now. One came from Turkey, the third goalkeeper.
The goalkeeper, yes.
So there are 4 signings now. And with the signings, I'll give him a 7 or let's say 7 over 10. First of all, with the finances behind the signings, at least he has signed these players, and looking at the money that came out of it was quite reasonable. You understand? So first of all, that's what I'll give kudos to Pep Guardiola for doing that. And secondly, with the quality that is coming in, because last season you look at players like Foden, players like Bernardo Silva, who went out of form and they affected the City, and also losing a player like Julian Alvarez. You understand? All these things came in and didn't help them. So I'll give him a 7 over 10. Let's look at what's going to happen going forward.
Okay, so Sam, looking at Pep Guardiola's signing, do you think he's now set to win the Premier League? And also, how are you going to rate their 4 signings they've done so far?
City is still a scary team. City is still that team that will still compete for the league. If Prince is saying they're not scared of City, then we can boldly say we are also not scared of Arsenal, because Arsenal can stand in anyway and say they've scored us back any season. Same for
Do you
we can also say
do you know the last time you scored?
Last season knocked you out of the FA Cup. Please, let me just go on.
I'm talking about the Premier League.
If Prince is talking about adaptation to the Premier League, then I'm sure Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus are still and Sterling are still adapting to the Premier League as now. So, and they've been there for years now. Please listen. City is still a scary team. I mean, if you know Pep will put players in place to fix the puzzle. When he bought Checky, I said Checky will be a scary factor in the EPL next season because he's very fast. His techniques and IQs are very good. So in total, I think he and 8/10 on paper. I think that when the league starts, then we know how good they are. But on paper, he has made incredible signing. Four signings for a team that's did well last season compared to us that we had 15 and instead had made just one signing. I think City has done very well. It's an
Okay, Ralph, looking at you being the Premier League champions, looking at this Man City signings they are doing, do you think they'll be able to challenge Liverpool for the title? And also with this 4 signing they've done, you rating it from 1 to 10, how are you going to rate this signing?
Wow. From 1 to 10, I think I'll give them like a 6/10 because he brought Savinho, but Savinho has not really hit the ground running like that. The only boy he brought in who is doing magic now is Umar Mamouche, very fine player. Now he has brought Ryan Sheki, Aït-Nouri, and some other guys, which means that the boys, the Lewis and other ones will be dropped to the bench. Maybe we give them to other clubs or other things like that. Now, as somebody said earlier, City is too scary. Guardiola, we know what he can do. The guy wants to win. He wants to. The league he didn't win. I mean, the guy, it was really troubling him. He didn't win the league, and he was worried. He's going to come back stronger. He's going to groom these boys again. It is up to us, the other team. The guy has won the league about how many times in a row, and it will be embarrassing for Liverpool to win the league last season, and then this is another season to Guardiola should win the league. No, we should see different faces winning the league. That is why I'm urging Arsenal. Arsenal should do so. Liverpool has done their best. Arsenal should also try.
Arsenal, no. I can bet 100% Arsenal will still not in the league.
Let me continue. So as I was saying, Liverpool, yes, we are very much aware of what Pep can do. Getting to the end of last season, you can see that Guardiola switched gears. They were winning games here and there. They are still scary, but we need to find a way to stop Guardiola from dominating the league as he used to be. Then bearing also in mind that he has lost one key member. The core of his team is there. The Ruben Diaz, the Manuel Akanji, the Bernardo Silva. These are the old guys, Rodri. They will need other young guys to complement their work effort. So we are just hoping that they will not be able to, if they are able to gel and everything goes right for them. But if they will get somebody who can replace or do exactly as Kevin De Bruyne did. De Bruyne was massive for Man City throughout the season. I don't know if Ryan Sheki can replicate that same performance. Or who, I'm just thinking about who can do what Guardiola, Kevin De Bruyne was doing. Because aside the assistant of goals, the guy was also a hard worker on the pitch. So that is the only problem I'm finding for City now. If there will be anybody who can do exactly as Kevin De Bruyne did, then I can also be confident and say that they can also compete with Liverpool or other team, any other team for the league title. But if they don't have that one, there will be some problems for them.
Okay. So thank you all for joining on Tactics and Touchlines. Today we looked at Pep Guardiola as a manager. Is he a paycheck manager or he helps in developing talent? We want to know in the comment section. Tell us what you feel. Is he a paycheck manager or you think he has been able to develop enough talent that we didn't brand him as a paycheck manager? Thank you all for joining the show and we'll meet again for other